Have you ever noticed how chasing happiness can feel like running on a treadmill? You move a lot, but you never really arrive. It's thrilling at first, but soon, it becomes exhausting. In today's video, let's take a step back together. Not to give up on joy, but to understand something deeper. Happiness can be loud, exciting, and addictive. It makes us want more success, more validation, more moments that sparkle. But peace? Peace is different. It's quiet, gentle, and often overlooked. Yet it holds the power to set us free. We're not here to preach. This isn't about telling you what you should feel. This is about sharing something we all experience, the highs that come with happiness, and the quiet longing for calm in between. Through the lens of Buddhist wisdom, we'll explore why true freedom doesn't come from chasing, it comes from releasing. So if you've ever felt tired of the endless pursuit, or wondered if there's something beyond the highs and lows, this video is for you. Let's sit with that question, and maybe, in the stillness, find something surprisingly powerful. 1. Happiness is an addictive emotion. Have you ever wondered why happiness never seems to last? You get the raise. You fall in love. You buy the house. And for a moment, you feel full. Complete. But then, something changes. The thrill fades. The mind starts reaching again. What's next? Will it last? What if I lose it? That's the trap of happiness. According to the Buddha, what we often call happiness is just pleasure in disguise, a fleeting feeling, born from getting what we want. Money. Recognition. Approval. Romance. It fills the cup, but only for a while. And when it fades, we chase it again. And again. And again. This chasing becomes an addiction. You see, happiness, in the way most people understand it, is conditional. It depends on something outside you. And so the moment you attach your peace to a condition, you become its prisoner. The Buddha called this endless wanting tanha, craving. It's the fire of desire. It burns brightly, but never peacefully. It always asks for more. And no matter how much you feed it, it never says, I'm satisfied. Have you felt this? That quiet fear of losing what you have. That gnawing emptiness right after a high. That voice in your head that whispers, if only I had more, then I'd be happy. You're not alone. This is the cycle of suffering, dukkha. And it's not because you are broken. It's because you are human. And the modern world teaches us to confuse stimulation with fulfillment. We scroll, we buy, we hustle. We reach for more, believing we're building a better life. When in truth, we may just be building stronger chains. But here's the truth Buddhism reveals. You don't need to chase happiness. Because there is something deeper. Something quieter. Something no one can give or take away. It's called inner peace. And unlike happiness, peace doesn't come and go. It doesn't depend on how your job is going, or who texts you back. It doesn't rise with applause or fall with rejection. It just is. You touch it not by running toward more, but by pausing, breathing, letting go. You find peace by coming home to yourself. There was once a monk who was asked, "What is the greatest joy you've ever experienced?" He smiled and said, "To sit under the Bodhi tree, with no possessions, no audience, no destination. And feel completely free." You see, freedom isn't in having everything. Freedom is in needing nothing. And that's why peace is so powerful. It frees you from the trap of always needing more. It doesn't ask you to fight or impress or achieve. It only asks one thing: to be present. Here. Now. With everything you already are. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you felt truly peaceful? Not just happy. Not just excited. But deeply, soulfully, calm. For many of us, it's been a while. Because peace doesn't shout. It whispers. And in a noisy world, we forget how to listen. Dear listener, if you feel tired, not just physically, but spiritually. If you've been chasing happiness, only to find more anxiety waiting on the other side. Maybe it's time to stop running. Maybe it's time to sit. To breathe. To return. Let the noise settle. Let the mind unclench. Let your soul remember its own rhythm. Happiness may be addictive. But peace is liberating. It doesn't cost a thing. You don't need to earn it. It's been waiting inside you, all along. So let go of the craving. Let go of the not enough. And meet yourself in stillness. Because you are already enough. And when you live from peace, you won't need to chase happiness. It will come on its own. Softly, gently. As a guest who feels welcome. In the quiet temple of your heart. 2. Peace is not conditional. Let me tell you something simple, but deeply forgotten in our busy world. Peace doesn't depend on anything outside of you. You see, happiness, at least the way we often chase it, is addictive. It feels good, but it's fleeting. It comes and goes like a wave. A new car, a raise at work, someone saying, "I love you," it lifts us up. But then, life moves on. We find ourselves needing the next high. The next compliment. The next something to feel whole again. But peace is different. Peace doesn't shout for attention. Peace doesn't need applause. It's not found in achievement or praise. It is what remains when we let go. In Buddhist wisdom, we're reminded, the root of suffering is attachment. That means as long as your joy depends on getting things your way, you will suffer. But when you drop that need, when you're no longer pulled by praise or crushed by criticism, you begin to feel light. Truly light. Not because everything is perfect. But because your mind is no longer trapped in the tug-of-war of expectations. Let me share a story. There was once a monk who lived in a simple hut near a quiet forest. Every morning, he walked barefoot to a nearby village, carrying an empty bowl. He didn't ask for food. He simply received whatever was given, sometimes rice, sometimes just water, sometimes nothing. But you know what? His face always carried the same calm. One day, a man approached him and said, "How can you smile like this when you own nothing? You have no house, no family, no future. Are you not afraid of what tomorrow brings?" The monk looked at him gently and replied, "I am not afraid. Because I do not live in tomorrow." He paused, then said, "I do not carry the weight of wanting things to be different. I just breathe, and receive this moment. That is enough. That's the secret. Peace is not about gaining, it's about releasing. We are taught to strive, to fix, to hold on. But Buddhist teachings remind us that freedom comes from letting go. Let go of needing to be liked. Let go of needing to prove yourself. Let go of needing every part of your life to fit your plans. Because the truth is, the more you let go, the lighter you become. And when your mind is no longer attached to outcomes, you begin to live with deep inner peace. Not the kind that depends on silence or isolation, but the kind that stays even when life is noisy, uncertain, or painful. Here's something else the Buddha taught. Praise and blame, gain and loss, pleasure and pain, all come and go like the wind. To be happy, rest like a giant tree in the midst of them all. Can you imagine that? Being like a strong tree, rooted in the earth, unshaken by the winds of change. That's what peace feels like. Not excitement. Not adrenaline. But a soft, stable, silent strength inside you. A sense that says, I am okay. Right now. Even in this. Even if nothing changes. Let me speak to the part of you that's tired. Tired of pretending everything is fine. Tired of carrying others' expectations. Tired of chasing things that never seem to fill the void. If that's you, please hear this. You are not broken. You're just exhausted from carrying too much. You don't need to earn peace. You only need to stop resisting the present. This isn't about giving up. It's about surrendering with wisdom. A peaceful heart does not mean a passive life. It means a wise life. A life that chooses presence over pressure. A life that embraces the now, rather than chasing the next. If you've been searching for something but can't name it. If you felt a silence inside you, calling you home. That's peace. And it's been waiting for you. Not at the end of a goal. Not once you fix everything. But right now. Here. In this breath. Just close your eyes. Take a deep inhale. And whisper to yourself. I let go. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to stop holding on so tightly. Let the noise fall away. Let the world be what it is. And return to the stillness within you. That is where peace lives. Not in perfection, but in presence. Not in clinging, but in letting go. Inner peace, freedom from suffering, living in the present moment, these are not distant dreams. They are your true nature. You've just forgotten. And now, with a quiet heart and a gentle breath, you are remembering. Welcome back. 3. Peace is greater than happiness, a teaching from the Buddha. Imagine this. You're sitting alone in your living room. The house is quiet, but your mind is not. You've spent decades chasing happiness. Through love, success, family, and maybe even material comfort. But in the stillness of this moment, you wonder. Why do I still feel empty? Why does joy never seem to stay? Is something wrong with me, or with what I've been taught to pursue? Buddha once said, peace is the greatest wealth. Not craving is the highest happiness. At first glance, that may sound like a gentle phrase from a long ago time. But look closer, and it holds the power to change everything. The unseen burden we carry. Most of us are taught that happiness is the goal of life. We chase it like a finish line. If I get that job, if my children succeed, if I find the right partner, then I'll finally be happy. But happiness, at least the kind we're taught to seek, is fleeting. It comes, and then it goes. One day you're smiling. The next day you're anxious. You get what you want, only to discover it doesn't fulfill you the way you thought it would. It's like chasing the wind. You never really catch it. You only get tired. The hidden treasure, inner peace. Now imagine this. Instead of chasing happiness, you find a quiet place inside you. A place untouched by success or failure. A place not shaken by praise or blame. That is peace. Not the absence of pain, but the presence of stillness. Not a numb void, but a deep sense of enough. Buddha didn't promise us a life without suffering. But he pointed to something more valuable than pleasure. Freedom from the grip of craving. Because craving is what steals your peace. It whispers, you are not enough. You don't have enough. Life is not enough. And that voice keeps you running until your soul is worn thin. The story of the bamboo and the storm. Let me tell you a story. There was once an old monk who lived deep in the mountains. He had nothing but a small hut, a robe, and a bowl. A traveler visited him and asked, "Are you happy?" The monk smiled. "Some days, I feel joy. Some days, I feel sorrow. But every day, I am at peace." The traveler looked confused. "What do you mean?" The monk pointed to a bamboo forest outside. "Look at the bamboo. When the storm comes, it bends, it doesn't break. Because it is empty on the inside. It doesn't resist the wind. It flows with it. Happiness," the monk said, "is like the wind. It comes and goes. But peace is the strength of the bamboo. It lasts through all seasons. From seeking to being. Peace doesn't ask for conditions. You don't need a perfect life to feel peaceful. In fact, peace arrives when you stop resisting what is. When you let go of needing life to always please you. You stop chasing. You stop comparing. You stop needing everyone to understand you. You simply breathe. You sit with yourself. You come home. Letting go, letting be. The Buddha taught that non-craving, letting go of grasping, is the gateway to true contentment. Think of how much energy we spend wanting. Wanting things to be different than they are. Wanting people to act how we wish. Wanting to feel good all the time. And yet, it is that very wanting that robs us of peace. What if you could let go, just a little? What if today, you could say, "I don't need more. I don't need less. I just need to be fully here." That's not giving up. That's waking up. A gentle invitation. You don't need to go live in a monastery to experience peace. You don't need to renounce your life. You simply need to soften your heart. To listen deeply to what your soul has been trying to say. Maybe you felt alone for years. Maybe you've been smiling on the outside, but aching within. This is your moment. To stop searching. To sit down with yourself, gently, tenderly, and breathe. Let the storms come. Let the winds blow. You are the bamboo. You are the stillness. You are the peace that cannot be taken. And in that stillness, you will discover something more lasting than happiness. You will remember who you truly are. 4. How to choose peace over happiness. There's a quiet truth we often overlook. We don't have to escape life to find peace. We just need to pause long enough to hear the whisper of our own heart. Many of us spend years chasing happiness. We run from one desire to the next, thinking, if I get that promotion, if my children succeed, if my partner understands me, then I'll be happy. But happiness is fleeting, like a firework, beautiful but brief. It depends on what's outside us, and when the world changes, happiness disappears. Peace is different. Peace doesn't scream. It doesn't demand anything. It simply waits, like a calm lake, inside us. The teachings of the Buddha remind us. Peace isn't something to gain. It's something to remember. It's always been there, underneath all our noise, our fear, our striving. So how do we begin choosing peace? We begin by stopping. We don't need to abandon our families or move to the mountains. We only need to pause. Right in the middle of our daily life, and listen. Inhale slowly. Exhale gently. And notice, what is our mind craving in this moment? Are we seeking approval? Are we comparing? Are we replaying an old wound? Then we gently ask ourselves, is this truly necessary? Is this adding peace, or taking it away? This small act of self-reflection changes everything. It teaches us the power of mindfulness. Because when we see the craving, we are no longer its prisoner. We become free. Let us begin with the smallest steps. Not by forcing change, but by softening our grip. Let's practice. Less comparison, more gratitude. We don't need to look at someone else's life and feel lacking. We have sunsets to watch, memories to hold, and breath in our lungs. Let's start there. Less arguing, more listening. We don't have to win every conversation. Peace grows when we truly hear, without needing to be right. Less craving, more letting go. Not everything we want is what we need. Sometimes, walking away from a desire brings more joy than chasing it ever could. This is how we choose peace. Not in grand gestures, but in quiet decisions, moment by moment. And here's a truth that may touch something we've hidden deep down. So many of us feel tired. Not just in body, but in soul. We've spent years holding it all together. Carrying expectations, disappointments, silent grief. Smiling on the outside, while quietly wondering, when will I finally feel at ease? The answer is gentle, but life-changing. Peace doesn't arrive when everything is perfect. It arrives when we no longer need things to be perfect. That's the moment we return to ourselves. The Buddha taught that non-attachment is the path to liberation, not because we must abandon love, but because we must stop clinging. We can love without control. We can care without fear. We can live fully without needing every moment to bring us happiness. Peace is the quiet joy that comes from surrender. From trusting the present moment, no matter how uncertain. Let's not wait until we are old to finally relax into who we are. Let's stop rushing. Stop pretending. And start allowing. Allowing space. Allowing silence. Allowing stillness to speak to us. In that stillness, we'll hear something familiar. Ourselves. Not the roles we play, not the masks we wear, just the still, sacred presence that's always been there. That is peace. And it's free. 5. Reconnecting with yourself. There comes a moment in life, usually in the quiet spaces, when no one is watching, when you realize something has been missing. You've achieved what they told you to chase. The job, the house, the family, the routine. But deep down, there's still a whisper. A soft ache. A longing. Not for more, but for something real, something that feels like home inside your own soul. That, dear listener, is the call to return to yourself. You see, the world around us is loud. It tells us who we should be, how we should act, what we should chase. And in trying to meet those expectations, many of us lose sight of who we truly are. But here's what the Buddha taught. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This simple truth holds profound wisdom. Happiness is a feeling, it rises and falls with our experiences. A compliment, a warm hug, a successful moment, yes, they make us happy. But just as quickly, that feeling fades. Peace, however, is not a feeling. It is a state of being. It's the quiet knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you are anchored, whole, free. So how do we reconnect with that peaceful self? The answer is not out there. It never was. It begins by coming home to yourself, just as you are. With your mistakes, your regrets, your unspoken sadness, your hidden shame. All of it. Buddhism doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be present. To sit in silence and observe, not judge, your thoughts. To notice how you breathe, how your chest rises and falls, how your heart still beats, after everything. This practice is called mindfulness, but it's much more than a trend. It's the doorway to liberation. For years, maybe decades, you've been strong for others. You've smiled when your heart was heavy. You've kept going when all you wanted was rest. But my friend, what about you? When was the last time you gave yourself the kindness you so freely give to others? When was the last time you sat with your own pain? Not to fix it, but to see it. This is the sacred space where healing begins. Not in running from your wounds, but in turning toward them, with compassion. The Buddha called this metta, loving kindness. And it starts with offering that love to yourself. Maybe you carry grief, over people you've lost or parts of yourself that you've buried. Maybe you feel guilt, for choices you made when you didn't know better. Or maybe, you've just been tired of pretending, tired of holding it all together. Please hear this. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply human, awakening. The path back to inner peace is not about becoming someone else, it's about remembering who you've always been beneath the noise. When you return to stillness, something beautiful happens. You begin to see clearly. The thoughts that once pulled you in every direction start to lose their power. The need to be someone starts to soften. And the moment, this present moment, becomes enough. And in that stillness, you feel it. A quiet joy. Not the kind that screams in excitement, but the kind that rests in your chest like a warm fire. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need proof. It's just there. This is what freedom feels like. As you learn to sit with yourself, without judgment, without distraction, you begin to trust life again. Not because it's easy, but because you are steady. And that steadiness, that inner peace, becomes your true home. So if your heart is weary, let this be your reminder. You don't need to chase happiness. It's fleeting. But peace is your birthright. And when you live from that peace, happiness doesn't have to be hunted, it comes to you, like a bird returning to a quiet tree. Conclusion. At the heart of today's message lies a powerful contrast. Happiness often keeps us chasing, striving, always reaching for more, while inner peace invites us to stop, to breathe, to simply be. We explored how the pursuit of happiness can become addictive, how it pulls us outward, always wanting something else. And we uncovered the quiet strength of peace, which doesn't demand anything from us. Instead, it welcomes us home. Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us, true freedom doesn't come from having everything, but from needing less. And that begins with understanding ourselves, letting go, and allowing peace to rise from within. If this lesson resonated with you, if something in your heart whispered, "Yes, I needed to hear this," then I invite you to take one small step forward. Not just by listening, but by living it. Let peace become your practice, not just an idea. If you found value in this video, feel free to like, comment, and share it with someone who may need it today. And don't forget to subscribe to Life Lessons, where together, we explore timeless truths to nourish the mind, calm the heart, and awaken the soul. Your journey back to peace starts now. Let's walk it, together.